All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Race number 1 at Bathurst. Nick Sorensen and Andrew Lau will share the front row. Giancarlo Simon Zierk on the second row. Mike Dalling and Tim Williams on the third row. Yuho and Kirk Marble have the fourth row. Dylan Steinbach, Cody Kennedy rounding out your top 10. Dylan Murray and Nick Ewers in 11th. Brian Hewitt in 12th and Ryan McDaniel Brian Hewitt in 13th. Ryan McDaniel starting in 14th. Missing quite a few drivers here today, including Nicole. That's what she said. Creasel not here. Also, Adam Barker, as we found out yesterday, not here as well. We'll give Yuho an opportunity to hop up in the points. Hey, good morning, Tina. Sketch calling it for the 63 of Cody Kennedy. Cody was having a lot of fun in practice. He said he was getting up the mountain just fine. Coming down the mountain, a whole nother ball game. And you gotta think that the guys that ran the race yesterday will have a very distinct advantage here. Guys like Giancarlo Simon Zierk, Mike Dalling, Nick Sorensen, Andrew Lau. Ryan McDaniel ready to go. He's going to come from the back and try to pull off the win. Pace car starts rolling. Hey, thank you so much for the stars, Tina. And thank you for the follow, Sammy. Pace car is into the final turn. And here we go. They are out of the turn and already firing. Nick Sorensen is away. Green flag in the air. We saw no problems lap 1 yesterday in the 12 hours into turn 1. And everybody makes it through fine this time. Turn 1 did collect quite a few drivers, especially on long runs. It is interesting to note track temperature currently 90 degrees. The track temp has actually come down a little bit since practice. And it is about, the track temperature is about, well, it is not nearly as hot as it got yesterday on track. They started the race, track temperature was in the upper 70s, got up to 140 degrees, cars sliding everywhere. So guys like Sorensen and Lau, they got to be loving these cooler temps and more grip. Giancarlo in third, everybody single file back down the mountain here. Down this long straightaway, we're going to see a lot of passing if the drivers can get set up for it. One of the best places to pass coming down this straight. The lone Lambo in the field. It'll be interesting to watch how the Lambo does here this morning. Mike Dalling still in the Conliff Racing Team car. Top two on a little bit of a breakaway. They're now about 1.1 seconds ahead of Giancarlo. Sorensen came into the morning third in points, Andrew Lau in second, and Giancarlo with the lead in the points. With only one more race to go this season, things could get very interesting. Coming up the mountain, you owe Tim Williams and Kirk Marble nose to tail. Kirk, one of only two BMWs this morning, the other driven by Cody Kennedy. Nick Edwards and Tim Williams, both from that Sausage Dodgers Racing group. A lot of great racers come out of that group. A lot of great racing and a great group of guys. And they obviously bring it when they come to the track. And Brian Hewitt has had a problem. Coming down the mountain for Brian Hewitt in the Porsche. Oh, just slips as he hits the bumps. Our apologies for the goofy looking replay transition. As we mentioned the other day, Discord broke a lot of our overlay stuff, and we are still working on getting everything updated, and apparently we're going to have to do it all over again tomorrow. Sorensen just set the fastest lap of the race so far, followed by Andrew Lau, Giancarlo, Simon Zierk, and Mike Dolling. Sorensen on the attack up the mountain. Hewitt continuing to have problems in this track. Not a lot of places to pass. You really have to be setting up your passes every single lap. Brian Hewitt has gone into pit road. Oh, Giancarlo is around coming down the mountain. Gets the rumble strips there and a little bit close. Gets on the brakes. Almost looked like the braking sent him into the outside wall and just, yeah, smacks the wall. Everybody barely skates by. Nick Edwards and Simon Zierk had a problem a moment ago as well. Coming down into that final set of curves, and we saw a lot of that yesterday. Drivers just overshooting those two turns. Now Simon Zierk coming down into the final turn. Push is just a bit wide, and Cody Kennedy also having a problem. There's Cody in the BMW into the final turn. Did look like Ryan McDaniel. Ooh, Cody gets a little bit of the wall. Sorensen still has the lead, followed by Andrew Lau, Simon Zierk in third, Mike Dolling now in fourth, Yuho up to fifth, Tim Williams in sixth, Kirk Marble in seventh. Dylan Steinbach has had a big problem. Dylan surprisingly in the Mercedes this morning. Just ouch. And Giancarlo has had another problem. And there's Giancarlo coming back down the mountain in the Ford. Slips loose and hits that inside wall. The mountain always wins. Nick Sorensen still in the lead. Several drivers picking up spots along the way here. Cody Kennedy did go to pit road, has come back out. Sorensen's lead now 1.3 seconds over Lau. Simon Zierk in third, about 4.5 seconds back. Still has Dolling right on the bumper. Yuho in fifth. Giancarlo being on pit road right now, and Andrew Lau running in second. Man, that is going to tighten the points up with Nick Sorensen in the lead. That's going to tighten up the top three even more. Adam Barker in fourth in points using a drop race here today. Yuho fifth in points, currently running fifth on track. Likely going to pick up some ground here as well. We could go into Circuit of the Americas next week with the top five separated by just a few points. Dylan Steinbach is back out on track. Giancarlo on his way back out. Brian Hewitt now up into 12th. Ryan McDaniel currently in 11th. We saw him slow on track a little bit ago, but car looks clean. He is still going. Hasn't had any significant problems. Cody Kennedy, despite smacking the wall, is currently in 10th. Dylan Murray up to 9th. Nick Edwards up 4 spots into 8th. But Dylan on the attack up the mountain. Kirk Marble currently in 7th, right behind Tim Williams in 6th, Yuho in 5th, just ahead of them both. Mike Dolling right on Simon Zierk's bumper, and Andrew Lau in 2nd, just can't seem to reel in Sorensen this morning. You know, these guys, being teammates yesterday, saw a lot of each other's driving and likely learned where their teammates were fastest and slowest and have found ways to mitigate and capitalize on their strengths and weaknesses here. Cody Kennedy really slow off the mountain. Likely, I think he may have just gotten the wall at the bottom. Those walls here at Bathurst completely unforgiving. Andrew Lau still trying to close that gap, but Sorensen opening up to 2 seconds. Simon Zierk, Mike Dolling, nose to tail. Uos in that Lambo, surprisingly still holding off Tim Williams in that Porsche. Man, that Lambo is getting very, very close to the walls. It's been interesting sitting here watching the line, the difference in the lines between the Lambo and the Porsche back behind. And as we mentioned, that Porsche driven by Tim Williams, these Porsches here at Bathurst, they have been a handful. Some drivers saying it's like wrestling a lion down a mountain. Yeah, Lambo Uo is on fire in that Lambo. He's already up 2 spots, so he's definitely on the move. And at the moment, able to hold Tim Williams and Kirk Marble off with just a few laps left to go here. Sorensen's lead still 1.9 seconds at the moment. We talked about the balance of power situation yesterday. iRacing always makes sure for these endurance races that the balance of power is situated out, and obviously that comes into play. But coming into this weekend, the Ferrari was the only car that had no balance of power adjustments. It appears that it was the baseline for all the GT3s. Whereas it appears that the Lambo and the Porsche had the biggest difference. They had minus 1% fuel and minus 1.75% power for the 24 hours, and for the 12 hours rather. And obviously the fuel, not an issue here in a league race, but that power change definitely is. Plus the Mercedes, the only Mercedes on track today, Dylan Steinbach, that has had a 2% power reduction. We have had a big problem. Nick Owers and Giancarlo and Cody Kennedy. There's Nick coming down the mountain. Gets loose through that first chicane. Ouch. Giancarlo scoots by. Giancarlo gets it wound up and then snaps around himself seconds later. Cody Kennedy comes off the top of the mountain. Looks like he just clips the grass, and it sends that car for a spin. Holy cow. A lot of chaos late in this one. That does have Nick Sorensen in lap traffic. And Andrew Lau back to his bumper. Simon Zier closing in as he comes by Ryan. Well, you don't usually see a lot of passing on the mountain, but these guys smell blood in the water after the chaos of the last few laps. Holy cow, things got crazy. Well, it looked like Cody was able to back it. Ooh! A close call between Sorensen and Lau there for a moment. It did look like Cody was able to back it off the track to stay out of the racing groove. In fact, Cody is still going, currently holding on to 10th place. White flag is in the air one more time around. Simon Zier currently in third, Mike Dolling in fourth, Yuho currently in fifth. Tim Williams, Kirk Marble still battling back behind, coming by the lap car of Ryan McDaniel. Ryan's going to hop in between those two cars. Now swings wide to let Kirk get by. But that chaos did bring the top two back together again. Whoa, Simon way wide. Holds on to it. Hopefully he shouldn't have a slowdown on that one. And Nick Sorensen leads him off the mountain down those final straightaways. Lau's gonna need a big, big run here to make it happen. It's going to be close coming into the final turn. Can Andrew find a move? Nick gets the better run out of the turn. And into the final turn, it doesn't look like Lau has anything for him. Nick Sorensen will pull off the win at Bathurst. Andrew Lau coming home in second. Simon Zier will finish third. Yeah, I noticed, you're absolutely right, Sketch. I noticed late in the race, as drivers gained some confidence, they were getting closer and closer each and every lap. Let's talk to our top three, starting with Simon. Well, Simon, a top 10 yesterday, a podium today. It's been a great weekend here at Mount Panorama for you.
Yeah, all the practice pays off.
And it was a lot of practice. I know track temperatures were a bit cooler this morning.
Oh yeah, we are now in the 40-something degrees Celsius. That's okay, much cooler than the endurance yesterday with temperatures over 50 degrees. I think for the second race it will get hotter. Let's have a look.
It's definitely going to be a bit warmer, but man, a great job and quite a fight you guys had going through the mountain a couple of times.
Oh yeah, it got really close with some of the lap cars. I tried to use them to get a gap to Mike, but it didn't work out, and he stayed close within half a second the whole race.
Well, still a great job and a great finish. You held him off. Congratulations, Simon.
Thank you, Doug.
Simon Zier coming home in third. Andrew Lau finishes in second. Andrew, another great finish here at Bathurst. It's been a great weekend for you here.
Yeah, pretty good. I don't think we were going to catch Nick, but backmarker showed up. Still couldn't get by him either way, but good racing.
It did, things got a little exciting at the, coming down the mountain at one point, and it did tighten up the top. It tightened you guys up, but it started bringing third and fourth and closer and closer. Were you guys watching late in the race, watching your mirror?
Oh, no, I turned the mirrors off. Eyes forward all the time.
Well, that probably was a good thing, man. Another great race. Obviously, a great race yesterday. Another one today. Now, all you got to do, coming home in second in that race, Giancarlo had problems. Going into next week, things are about to get really interesting.
Yeah, well, I'm not really sure what happened with Giancarlo, but we finished ahead of him, so that's all good with me.
Ford's gonna Ford repeatedly.
Yeah.
He was having that Ford apparently has problems going down the mountain.
Oh yeah, I mean I mentioned it yesterday that I hope he would save the crashing for today, and he did it.
Well, it definitely worked out, man. A great points day so far, and good luck in race 2, buddy.
Yeah, thanks, Doug.
And finally, our winner, Nick Sorensen. Nick, you almost just ran away with it if it hadn't been for a little late race chaos.
Yeah, I had a good lead there on Andrew. And a little bit of lap traffic there made it interesting at the end.
It definitely did. A few close calls coming through the lap traffic, but you managed it really well, and another great run. And tightening up the top 3 this morning as well in the points.
Yeah, that helps a lot for the points. You just got to get through this race too. It's been my nemesis all year, so we need a good result. Maybe I just try to go for the good result instead of the win.
That could be it. I mean, it looks like you average about third or fourth place, so you're right there. Just need to finish ahead of Giancarlo, and you may still be in with a shot of getting this title.
Yep, we'll see. Like I said, race 2, to me, has been my nemesis all season. So, yep, you got to put a good result in.
Well, congratulations, buddy. Good luck. You got a lot of passing to do, and it ain't going to be easy.
No, sir. But thanks, Doug.
Nick Sorensen with the win, but now on to race 2. Ryan McDaniel turns out had wheel damage after smacking the wall early on and slowed him way down, obviously. Kirk Marbles is very sweaty out there. Indeed it is, and we just glanced at it. The track temperature already up to 111. So the track getting hotter. It's going to be slidier. You got to give it to Dylan Steinbach. That is a gutsy move, bringing the Mercedes here. So for race number 2, the top 7 will invert. Nick Sorensen, after winning race 1, will have to come from 7th place. He's got a lot of work to do here. And you heard him say, race 2 has been his nemesis all season long, especially at Road Atlanta. That one was rough after winning the first one. So hopefully Sorensen can overcome that second race jinx here going into race 2 and get back up, get back in the title fight. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here we go. Race number 2. We'll see Kirk Marble and Tim Williams on the front row. Yuho and Mike Dolling on the second. Simon Zierk, Andrew Lau have the third row. Nick Sorensen, Dylan Murray on the fourth row. Nick Ewers and Cody Kennedy round out your top 10. Brian Hewitt in 11th. Ryan McDaniel in 12th. Dylan Steinbach in 13th. And Giancarlo, the points leader coming in today, has to come from the tail end in 14th. It's going to be a long, long morning for Giancarlo, especially given how that Ford has been coming down the mountain. Good morning, Runa. BMW, Porsche, Lambo, then all five Ferraris are 4th to 8th place. Then BMW, 3 Porsches, a Mercedes, and that terrible Ford. Pace car is in. Kirk leads them out of that final turn. Here they go. They fire and are away. Green is in the air. And it looks like a little bit more aggressive turn into turn 1 to this time. No problems though. Kirk Marble getting a bit of a run down that long straightaway. Yuho gets a big push from Simon Zierk. Oh, almost pushes Mike Dolling off the track. Great save by Mike, holds on to it, now up the mountain. They're side by side. Everybody making it up the mountain so far. Holy cow. Some very close calls out there for the Porsches. Kirk still in the lead as they top the mountain and head back down, but man, it's anybody's guess here. Quick look at the track temps here today. The track temperature has dropped back to 99 degrees. Likely to come back up as they put some rubber down. Hey, good morning, J-Rod. Kirk Marble is going to make it through and lead lap number 1. Tim Williams right behind. Yuho back in third. Giancarlo has picked up 3 spots on the first lap. And let's take a lap around this track in the Ferrari of Nick Sorensen. As Sorensen shoots down the straightaway, trying to set up and get past Andrew Lau. Lau is going to clear as they go toward turn 2 and head up the mountain. And you're about to see just how tight this track is. You might want to hold your breath because here they go into the left-hander. Hard on the brakes, left hand back on the power. Oh, big bobble. It gets a little slick there, hard to put the power down. Continue pushing up, going right to the edge. Ryan McDaniel has had a problem. Back behind, we'll take a look here in a moment. At the top of the mountain, it gets really slick right through here. So easy to slide into the grass. Then point it back down the mountain. Through the S's, bottoming out right there. It's a hard hit in the car. Can majorly upset it. And a hard left-hand turn out of the mountain. Back onto that back straightaway and begin accelerating up to 170 miles an hour before the right-hand kink. This could get interesting. Here we go into the kink. Everybody makes it. Simon on the inside, Lau on the outside. Sorensen really nowhere to go. He had the advantage of the draft. Now Andrew Lau picking up a position as they go through the final turn. Through that final turn, back on the power and across the start-finish line. Sorensen did that lap at 2:06.55. Let's see what happened to Ryan. There's Ryan right in front of Giancarlo. Into those final two turns, Ryan just overshoots. We saw that a lot yesterday. Then a few moments later, Ryan going up the mountain, overshoots the turn. Oh, gets into Steinbach. Ryan did eventually toe to pit road. That was a hard lick. Dylan Steinbach also was able to limp back to pit road, but is going again. Can't tell you, Ryan was, and a few of the other drivers struggled with that first turn here at Bathurst during practice. Sorensen has had a problem. Simon Zierk has had a problem. There's Simon in the Ferrari. Oh! Oh! Simon goes up in the air. Sorensen nowhere to go. See if we can get a different angle on Simon. Looked like he just, everybody was swinging wide into the wall, and they just carried all the momentum possible out of that turn. Double Ferrari crash indeed. Simon Zierk did toe to pit road. Nick Sorensen was able to limp it to pit road. Kirk Marble out front has set the fastest lap 2 laps in a row, pulling a gap now on Tim Williams. Yuo sitting in third, Dolling in fourth, Andrew Lau in fifth. Cody Kennedy now up into sixth. Nick Edwards in seventh, Giancarlo in eighth, Dylan Murray in ninth, and Brian Hewitt in 10th. Jared, you and me both. Hey, good afternoon, Richie. I will say, Jared, I love to broadcast this track because it's a lot of great racing, and I do not like driving it. No Nicole today. I'm not sure where Nicole That's What She Said Creasel is this morning. A lot of the regular drivers, Adam Barker is not here this morning. None of Team Gunther is here this morning. Mike Marshall, George Cole, Zach Bache. Callie Evian is not here. So a lot of our regulars not here today. I think this is one of those love or hate tracks. You're either going to love it and want to race it all the time, or you hate it and you never want to race it. But I will say, broadcasting this track is a blast. Simon Zierk is officially out of the race. Ryan McDaniel is back on pit road. Looks like more repairs needed on that Porsche. Dylan Steinbach is still out on track. Sorensen's still out on track. You know, Sketch, I don't know that I've ever actually had Marmite, but I'm now going to try it. Ten minutes into this race, already one driver out of it. One driver on pit road for extensive repairs. Several drivers have already had issues. And Giancarlo now up 7 spots into 7th. However, the question is, will that Ford survive to the end? Oh, look at the attack on Cody Kennedy. As we saw in race 1, that Ford GT does not like coming down the mountain. In fact, that first big left-hander has a big dip in it. It seemed to bottom the Ford out and send it around. Giancarlo really struggling here today. Why he keeps punishing himself by driving a Ford is beyond us. It definitely hurt his championship chances here this morning. However, I am sure Andrew Lau is very happy to see Giancarlo in the Ford. Lau now in 5th. I have to agree with you on that one, Sketch. Andrew Lau now up in 5th after race 1. Closed and likely took the points lead from Giancarlo. Nick Sorensen also back in the points battle, and Sorensen just set the fastest lap so far. And Sorensen back behind, got caught up in that issue with Simon earlier. He is currently in 10th and on the attack. Don't forget, folks, more road racing to go this morning, 1:30, or this afternoon, rather. 1:30 this afternoon, we will have Home Motorsports GT4 racing. They will be at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park. Followed by tonight at 7:30, the BRR Cup playoffs begin. You're not going to want to miss that. Giancarlo in 6th, trying to close the gap on Andrew Lau. Lau currently in 5th, about 7 1/4 seconds ahead. Right on Yuo's bumper. Yuo, though, right behind 3rd place, Mike, Minister of Defense, Doling. Well, I will say the F-150s do not work much better. Ryan McDaniel has had a problem. Coming up the hill, trying to shorten his turn this time instead of going too wide. Then coming over the top, oh, misses that first turn down the mountain right in front of Giancarlo. Holy cow, that got close. Whoa, Mike Doling looking to the inside on Tim Williams as they head up the mountain. Oh, Yuho and Doling together. Lau slips by into 3rd. Doling now in 4th. Watch this battle from the chopper. Doling looks to the inside, gets cleared behind, tries to get back over, doesn't realize Yuho is there, and they both get some of the wall. Tim Williams got held up a little bit while he was battling with Doling. That has allowed Kirk Marble to pull out to a 4-second lead at the moment. Lau now to 3rd, Doling in 4th, Yuho in 5th, Giancarlo in 6th. But did the Ford take any damage from that incident with Ryan McDaniel? Doesn't appear to have any damage at the moment. Cody Kennedy also getting caught up in that. Car seems okay. Dylan Murray now running at 8th. Dylan has just had to keep it clean and consistent and has kept that car moving forward. Same with Nick Owers. Sorensen still back in 10th, but is gaining on everybody. He's consistently faster than the rest of the field. Actually, come to think of it, Sketch, somebody mentioned yesterday the potential for a NASCAR race here, which I think is NASCAR trucks, which I think is kind of insane. I don't know that any of the NASCAR cars right now, Cup, Truck, or Xfinity, the next gen Cup car might survive laps around here, but trucks not so much. Although trucks at the Nürburgring is fun and is a challenge, so Ryan McDaniel still sitting on pit road. Nobody has really been to pit road for fuel stops. Nick Sorensen was on pit road lap 3, but unlikely he'll be able to go the distance on fuel. Dylan Steinbach on pit road lap 2, and Tim Williams gives up 4th place. He is in. They are in their fuel window. Nick Edwards, Tim Williams, both on pit road for fuel and tires. Looks like we are going to see tire changes here this morning. Got Nick up for tires as well, as Tim Williams rolls back out next to Nick Sorensen. Good place to be right now for Williams, as Sorensen has been the fastest on track since his pit stop for repairs. Worth noting, Nick Sorensen's nickname is Wild Thing. That could explain the speed and how quickly he's getting around this track today. Kirk Marble is still ahead of Andrew Lau, but Lau has started to close that gap, now down to 3.7 seconds. Lau has begun to attack. Mike Dolling still in 3rd. Yuo in 4th, has lost ground on the Minister of Defense. And I'm not sure if Giancarlo has kissed the wall again, but that right side does now appear to have some damage. The first 10 minutes of this race has really flip-flopped a lot of the field. What will we see as we approach the second half here? Nick Sorensen still setting blistering lap times. He is only 15.8 seconds behind Dylan Murray at the moment. Last time by, he was 2 seconds faster than Dylan. Andrew Lau has had a big problem. He is losing positions. Lau coming down the mountain. And gets into that bump and that first right-hander, hard hit. Loses the entire front end on that Ferrari. And loses a couple positions in the process. With that incident, now Andrew Lau has come to pit road. This will be his fuel stop as well. Will he take tires here is the question. That does move Giancarlo up into fourth. Waiting to see, will Lau take tires here, take advantage of fresh rubber? No, it'll be fuel and repairs only for Andrew Lau. Nick Sorensen went a little off track a moment ago. After setting another blistering lap time, looks like he was pushing it very hard into those final two turns. Mike Dolling now in second place. Brian Hewitt is in. Dylan Steinbach is in for their stops. Giancarlo now up into fourth as Andrew Lau is back out on track, but Lau in ninth. Cody Kennedy is driving a lot better this race, up 5 spots into fifth, and Lau has had another problem. This time looks like coming down the mountain yet again. Oh, just gets loose, backs it into the wall. No damage though. Just loses a bit of time here. Dylan Murray now on pit road for his fuel stop. Kirk Marble has extended his lead over Mike Dolling to 4.7 seconds. Yuho back in third is closing in little by little on Dolling. Giancarlo in fourth. And Cody Kennedy in fifth. But Giancarlo had all the problems in race. Whoa, no! Whoa, close call for the points leader. He had all the problems in race one, has managed to keep that forward pointed the right way in race two. Unfortunately, Andrew Lau, who had a great first race, coming home in second place and making a huge difference in the points, has had multiple problems here and now is back in eighth. The leader is on pit road. Mike Dolling will assume the lead for now. Worth noting, I just realized we have not seen Cody on track since Hockenheim. Cody currently 19th in points, but likely going to pick up a spot or two this morning. Could easily move back into the top 15 with a good second race and a couple of good races next week. Kirk Marble is back out on track, but look who's right behind him. Nick Sorensen now back behind. The top 4 have not been to pit road yet. Mike Dolling, Yuho, Giancarlo, and Cody Kennedy, the top 4 have not had a pit stop yet. They will still need to stop for fuel. Sorensen potentially will still have to stop for fuel as well. He stopped on lap 3, but don't know if he could get enough fuel there to make it to the end. The Minister of Defense, Mike Dolling, is on pit road. Yuho is going to follow him in. Giancarlo choosing to stay out now. Cody Kennedy choosing to stay out for the moment. Giancarlo now taking the lead. Cody Kennedy now moving into second. The last 2 drivers needing to pit. Giancarlo has had a much easier time in race 2 on the mountain. You gotta think he made some adjustments to that car to keep it from bottoming out coming down the mountain. Nick Sorensen is on pit road. He did need a fuel stop. He is on his way out, though, the shortest fuel stop we've seen all morning. Dylan Murray is in. Ryan McDaniel has had another problem after getting off pit road for repairs. Coming down to the last few turns. Oh, just overshoots into the tire barrier. Holy cow. You know, they removed the Bathurst jump, but Ryan definitely tried to make up for it here. The wing and the hood go flying. Cody Kennedy is on pit road. We did talk about it yesterday during the 12 hours of Bathurst a couple of times. iRacing has removed the Bathurst jump. And even the iRacing official broadcast yesterday that was covering the top split, even those announcers said, iRacing, fix it. Not having the Bathurst jump here is just kind of depressing. They made the grass and gravel a little bit stickier so the drivers cannot jump it after the race. Kirk Marble currently in second. Giancarlo still has the lead, but still has not been to pit road. Kirk in second. Dolling third. Tim Williams in fourth. And Yuho in fifth. Andrew Lau sitting back in sixth place. This is going to be a big, big question mark. Nick Sorensen in seventh, but is closing in quickly. Giancarlo is headed in. Now the question's about to be answered. Where does Giancarlo come out of pit road, and can Lau get by before he gets out? Kirk Marble coming out of the final turn should reclaim the lead here. Kirk back to the lead. Mike Dolling coming by. Giancarlo on his way out. Tim Williams by into third. Yuho gets by into fourth, and Giancarlo is going to come out in fifth. Andrew Lau in sixth, Nick Sorensen in seventh. Cody Kennedy is back on pit road. Sorensen just set the fastest lap of the morning. Nick Sorensen is the first driver to break the 2:05 mark today. And Ryan McDaniel appears to be done. A rough morning at Bathurst for him. Have a great day, Ryan. At least he tried, Richie. Nick Sorensen continuing to set blistering lap times, trying to close back in. Andrew Lau about 8.2 seconds behind Giancarlo. 13 minutes left to go. I have to wonder how much Sorensen and Lau can do. But Lau only being one position behind Giancarlo after finishing second in race one, and Giancarlo having all those problems is definitely going to shake up the points battle. Kirk Marble just out there keeping consistent, clean laps. Mike Dolling is gaining. About 2.5 seconds back with 12.5 minutes to go. The Minister of Defense might catch him. However, Kirk Marble hasn't been pushing it as hard as he did in the early going. Those tires likely still have a lot of life left in them to allow him to push if he needs to. Nick Sorensen set another fast lap, continues to reel in Andrew Lau. The top three in points are currently Giancarlo, Andrew Lau, Nick Sorensen in that order. They're in the same order on track with Giancarlo, Andrew Lau, and Nick Sorensen, 5th, 6th, and 7th. A lot of smack talk going on in the comments right now between Richie and Ryan. Tomorrow night, Jones BS is going to be interesting. Nick Evers has just come by to take 8th place. Sorensen still closing the gap. Sorensen in 7th. Still closing in on Andrew Lau in 6th. Lau still closing in on Giancarlo in 5th. But Giancarlo has caught the bumper of Yuo in 4th. Dylan Steinbach. Gutsy move bringing the Mercedes out this morning for this track is currently in 11th, up 2 spots. Brian Hewitt just surviving here has made his way to 12th. Kirk Marble's lead still just over 2 seconds. And BMW has a straightaway advantage here. Tim Williams in 3rd, holding about 1.5 seconds behind Dalling. Yuo and Giancarlo on the attack. Giancarlo down to the inside on Yuo. He's going to clear. Giancarlo now to 4th. Giancarlo now less than 2 seconds behind Tim Williams. Dalling in 2nd, but Kirk Marble out front by 2.1 seconds. And Sorensen just set another blistering lap. 2:04.69, still the only driver under the 2:05 mark. And he's now only 6.25 seconds behind Lau and gaining. The Ferrari of Mike Dalling up and down the mountain closes the gap on Kirk, but Kirk has the advantage on the straightaway. Tim Williams holding on to 3rd for the moment, but has Giancarlo on the attack in 4th. Yuo now in 5th, right behind Giancarlo. Lau in 6th, Sorensen 7th. Sorensen got caught up in that incident with Yuo early on and has fought back ever since, and by golly has he fought. Mike Dalling closes the gap just a little bit more once again. Now down to 1.8 seconds. Dalling has to attack on the climb. The Ferrari has the advantage up and down the mountain, but it's also the most dangerous part of the track to attack on. Giancarlo now within a second of 3rd place Tim Williams. And Sorensen just over 5 seconds behind Lau. Nobody in the top 8 spots is safe at the moment. Kirk Marble has run almost a perfect race all morning, kept it consistent, clean, ran some fast laps early, managed to get away when chaos happened behind. But after pit stops, Mike Dalling has been full on attacking in 2nd. Tim Williams quietly running in third all day long, but Giancarlo also had some problems early, is up 10 spots into fourth, closing that gap. Yuo currently running at fifth, made that Lambo fly earlier in the race. Now has Andrew Lau closing quickly as well. Lau about 6.8 seconds back, but Lau has his own problem. Sorensen 5 seconds back and 2 seconds a lap faster. Dylan Steinbach appears to have gone back to pit road. And Kirk Marble now has a whole lot of Conliff Racing Ferrari in his bumper. Dolling massively attacked on that last lap and is now 0.7 of a second back in the Conliff Racing Ferrari. That team powered by Advanced Sim Racing. Check them out on Facebook and on their website. Drool, drool, drool. And Giancarlo has gotten by Tim Williams coming up the mountain. Giancarlo now to third after starting at 14th and problems early. Tim Williams holding on to fourth, Yuo in fifth, Lau in sixth, Sorensen in seventh, now just 4.7 seconds back. Dolling able to get to Marble's bumper as they come down the mountain, but that BMW, as we saw all day yesterday, has a massive advantage on the straight. Dolling has got to stay in the slipstream. Dolling right on his bumper. Mike is going to have to figure out a way to attack going up and down the mountain. Otherwise, he is never... Oh, he's going to try and make the move into the final turn. Can't get it. Kirk doing everything he can to break the draft on the Ferrari. Giancarlo, meanwhile, is closing in. Tim Williams not far behind. Andrew Lau back in sixth. Sorensen still closing. Dolling's going to try to go to the outside coming up the hill. Can't get it yet. Kirk doing everything he can at the moment. This is only Kirk's second race in the league. He was here at Daytona. He's back at Bathurst. And he is making Dolling work for it today. Meanwhile, Giancarlo less than 2 seconds behind. Now the top five actually starting to tighten up. And Andrew Lau in sixth needs to worry. Sorensen now 3.7 seconds back. The question is now, do they get the white flag this time, and can Kirk Marble hold off the Minister of Defense for one more lap? White flag is in the air one more time around. Marble leads him down the straightaway, back into Mount Panorama, up the mountain. Dowling right on the bumper. Giancarlo 1.8 seconds back. Tim Williams 1.7 seconds back. Yuo less than a second back. Lau 5 seconds back, and Sorensen 3.7 back. Nick Ellers up into 8th. Cody Kennedy in 9th. Dylan Murray running in 10th. Back down the mountain, Kirk still able to hold off the Minister of Defense, Mike Dowling. Onto the straightaway. This is where the BMW has the advantage. Kirk Weaven trying to break the draft, not letting Dowling get anything. Giancarlo not able to gain any ground here. Just 2 more turns to go. Can Kirk Marble pull it off? Into the final turn. Dowling tries to send it deep. It won't be enough. Kirk Marble is going to get his first ever GT3 NSS win at Bathurst. A very close second place for Mike Dowling. Giancarlo coming home in 3rd. And let's talk to our top 3. Giancarlo, you definitely had a wild, wild morning.
Oh yeah, I feel like you probably were having a field day with me spinning about 2 or 3 times in the first race. Yeah, but the second one went, I think, a little bit better. We were able to scrounge up some points from that.
I have to wonder, did you make any setup changes? It was obvious that the car appeared to be bottoming out in the dips coming down the mountain in race 1.
Yeah, I didn't actually make any changes. I think I was able to kind of figure out how to drive it with some more practice, because I came in with only having driven the Ferrari here, so I had no idea what I was doing, but we figured it out.
Well, it definitely paid off. However, that first race really hurting in the points. And Andrew Lau, big attack late in the race, means next week going into Coda is going to be very, very, very interesting.
Yeah, it's going to be a fun one. We'll see how it goes. I think there's one more race that we're going to do after that, so there's still potentially time to shake things up, but we'll see how it goes.
Well, man, great job today. Great comeback in race 2.
Thank you.
Giancarlo came home in 3rd. The Minister of Defense, Mike Dowling, coming home in 2nd. Mike, you had a ton of speed today, but man, just not enough to get around Kirk.
Yeah, I just couldn't do it. Didn't have enough room. Didn't have enough laps. I was just building up enough momentum, and just ran out of time, and also some talent. I think I messed up the Forest Elbow, I think 2 laps in a row when I was trying to pass him. So I only have myself to blame.
It was still a great race and a great attack there late in the race to close the gap as quickly as you did.
Yeah, I was happy with it. Really happy with how today turned out. Yeah, it was good. It was good fun out there. It got a bit hairy at times when I was trying to overtake Tim, and then I ended up getting messed up with Yuho, Simon, and Andrew. That was hairy. I think I shit my pants there a couple of times. But yeah, it was good.
I think we all did at that point too.
Whew, yeah, that was quite something. I was surprised I survived, because when I pitted, I was expecting to have a bunch of repairs, but didn't have any. So I was like, great, let's go. Let's just try and focus on trying to get a podium. So I'm happy. Today is a good day.
It definitely is, man. A great finish. Congratulations, Mike.
Cheers, Doug. Thanks.
Mike definitely happy about that one, but happier still will be Kirk Marble. And Kirk, your first NSS win, buddy. Congrats.
Oh man, thanks, Doug.
That was definitely a workout, especially that last 3 or 4 laps with Mike attacking.
Man, it was honestly that way the whole race. First, it was Andrew I was worried about, and then Doug or Michael, and I was like, man. And then I just kept making mistakes the more I was thinking about it. So I just had to like turn off all my stuff and not think about it.
Well, it definitely paid off, man. That was one heck of a run there at the end. You obviously had a lot of pace early on and had enough left when it counted to get the job done.
Thanks, man. I look forward to watching the broadcast.
Great job today. Congrats.
Yeah, thanks.
Kirk Marble gets his first ever NSS win at Bathurst, and we will be back at 1:30 Eastern with the Home Motorsports GT4 as they go to Canadian Motorsports Park. You're not going to want to miss out on that. We will see you here shortly, folks. Have a great afternoon, everybody.